Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to Fear Review number 2. So, right now we're reviewing Sims. He's actually on the red team. I couldn't, for some reason, I tried looking up his name and I kept getting a bunch of bug report. I don't know why. So I had to look it up from his opponent. Quickly, before we start off, if you guys want to be featured in this, I will drop the form in which you need to fill out if you do want to be reviewed. There it'll go over the rules on what you need to do. Anyways, let's get into it. So you're gonna start off by skipping off your first turn. I'm not sure why, but I guess it's to play the unbearable. However, I know you have access to, let me double check real quick. Okay, so I know you have access to Bomangos, which is, for the most part, you don't ever want to skip your first turn, especially if you're going first. I know unbearable is pretty good, but I would have just opted in to play the Bomangos just so that you get ahead on the map pressure. So your opponent's already gonna bring out a pterodactyl, which is fine, but then you're gonna bring out a stairmaster. Interesting choice. I think I would have. So right here, pterodactyl is actually gonna be pretty tough for you to deal with because you have an unbearable who won't be able to kill it and then step on it to finish it off. And stairmaster, I believe you have better options. I know you have a quagmire. You also have access to ginsting and inoculus. Any of those would have been preferable. Your opponent's actually just going to fly down and capture that. So he's not really applying a bunch of pressure already, which is good. Next, you're going to bring in a Bomangos, which again is not bad. Alright, well that's good. At least you're not capturing the middle panic point with your unbearable. Now you are. What you could have done instead. Okay, so I'm assuming next turn your stairmaster is probably gonna die to stabby plus the pterodactyl. What I would have done differently was, first off, the middle panic point, you don't want to capture it with any valuable phobie. That's why one drops and, well, basically just one drops are essential. It gives you easy access to capture panic points while not having to sacrifice your big phobies like unbearable. And instead, what I would have done, I probably would have moved unbearable up here. That way, the only way your opponent could have responded was either moving his stabby back or getting a gravedigger, removing this obstacle, and then leaving stabby there. So your opponent is going to respond with a clinical, and he's probably just going to kill off your stairmaster. I'm going to assume he is, at least. Right? No. Okay. So he's going to opt in not to kill your stairmaster, which is very interesting because due to pterodactyl being a resurrection phobie, even though Bomangos and unbearable, actually they don't even deal enough damage to kill it. So he could have opted in to just kill your stairmaster and he would have lost nothing. Also, because Sims, if you're watching this, one of the main tips is that you never want to push up too much into your opponent's spawn point. So because you're attacking a stabby who's only 2 tiles away from the spawn point, he's allowed to just spawn a clinical or really anything to help back up his stabby. And because of that, you're playing at a disadvantage because you don't know what he's gonna summon or what he has access to. So right there. But you do have Dr. Dermeric, which is a pretty good right there, I think I would have, well, actually, no. That's actually not a bad play. Okay, right there though, I would have just taken the one shot with the unbearable and then stepped back. Because now you're leaving your unbearable in the middle of the map to essentially just die next turn. The opponent's gonna bring in a muffin top. This is what I mean, you gotta get out. You gotta get away from your opponent's panic point. He's just gonna keep spawning a bunch of phobies to help his stabby out. And now you've lost an unbearable and you've gained nothing. And another mistake your opponent did there. He should have just moved the pterodactyl here so that his Bomangos didn't have the opportunity to take a shot at pterodactyl. And I'm assuming you just forfeited afterward because there's only 14 turns here. Yeah, I'm gonna assume you did. Either that or yeah. There's no way he could kill off all your phobies. So we'll go ahead and let this play out, and then I'll go ahead and explain what you could have done. So turn 1, what I like to do on this map, you're going first, which you were. I would have just opted in to play the Bomangos, have it make its way to the middle of the map, and then just don't worry about this tile. This tile is close enough to that you could spawn any phobie with a movement of 2 to go ahead and capture this in 1 turn. Main thing about this map, you want to have control of the middle of the map. So you opted out to actually skip your first turn, which didn't necessarily hurt you because your opponent also skipped their first turn. But generally, going forward, you don't ever want to do that. You want to always play something in the beginning of the map. For this map, like I said, start out with the Bomangos, have him work his way down under here through the map, and then generally just keep him here. If you're able to, bring him close to right here where the Stairmaster is. Turn 2, probably bring out a 1 key cost phobie like a razor mouth or a cowbell or a contortia or whatever you want. Have it capture this tile, and then generally just play it slow. This map, it's very small, and you generally, I saw you keep fighting your opponent when he's close to spawn, which again, I know I keep repeating, but that's generally not something you want to do because your opponent can just spawn something, literally anything, and then just have it support their phobies. Since you're so close to their spawn, they could just spawn anything. And then, to be honest, their master's not the greatest. I would recommend not using him, or try to use him a little bit less. He's generally not one of the best phobies. You could spend 5 keys in a different number of ways to get more value out of them. Unbearable, Bomangos is good. You just gotta figure out how to use it. So generally, I would try to, like I said, I guess the best thing to take away from this is don't skip your first turn. Always play at least something. I would generally, most maps, if you're going first, it'll be okay to start off with a Bomangos or 2 1 key cast phobie, or even just 1 key cast phobies. If you're going second on this map particularly, I like to start out with a 1 key cost and then work my Bomangos or stabby if you have it up here. That way you don't lose control of the middle of the map. And then tip number 2 is obviously you gotta stop pushing too close to the enemy spawn point and knowing when to back off. So earlier I commented how you left your unbearable here. You could have just taken a shot at the Stairmaster and then backed away, got your unbearable out of harm's way. That way it would have lived for longer. But generally that's it. I didn't see you use any one drops. I would try to incorporate them. They're very important just for being able to capture panic tiles and even using them to body block. They're just generally good to use. But that's gonna do it for today, guys. Simmers, I hope you watched this video. I hope it did help you. And if you guys want to get featured in any one of these videos, just go ahead, fill out the form on the bottom, follow the instructions, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.